The raise came and nothing changed inside. You expected relief, but the tight feeling returned by Monday. For weeks, you pictured this moment with quiet hope. The number landed and your shoulders never actually dropped. You told yourself this one would be different. This raise would finally make you feel settled, ahead of things. Instead, here you are running again. Same chase, same checking the balance, same quiet ache that something is missing. By the end of this, you'll see exactly what happened. You'll see the treadmill and how to step off. The raise didn't fail you. Something quieter moved underneath it, and nobody really talks about how this part works. Let's start with the first week. The number went up, and your idea of normal quietly rose alongside it. The old apartment suddenly felt smaller. The old car suddenly felt older. Nothing changed, but everything looked less acceptable now. You didn't notice the shift happening. The new number quietly became the new floor, and the old floor disappeared overnight. This is the part nobody warns you about. Your income rose on paper, and your baseline rose right alongside it. That's why the relief never lands. You're not earning into your old life, you're earning into a more expensive one. The brain does this automatically. Whatever you have becomes the floor, and the ceiling slides higher to match. So the raise didn't make you richer in feeling. It just moved the finish line further down the same hallway. Think about the small upgrades that arrived. A nicer grocery run, slightly better takeout, a subscription you wouldn't have considered. None of them felt extravagant alone. Each one felt like a reasonable reward for working hard and earning more. But together they quietly rebuilt your monthly life. The new normal absorbed the new income before you felt anything. This is lifestyle inflation, and it doesn't arrive loudly. It tiptoes through choices that each seem too small to matter. You weren't reckless. You weren't foolish. You met a higher number, and your standards rose to meet it almost invisibly. That's the quiet trick of the treadmill. The speed increases, your legs match it, and the scenery never actually changes. Now, layer comparison on top of that. The raise changed your spending and changed who you started measuring against. Before, you compared yourself to people roughly like you. After the raise, your eyes drifted toward the next tier. Suddenly, their kitchens looked sharper. Their vacations looked closer. Their casual purchases looked like things you should be doing too. You weren't behind before the raise, but once you stepped into a new bracket, you became its bottom. That's the cruel geometry of status. Every time you climb a step, the room above grows and people become mirrors. Your old comparison group quietly disappears. The people you once felt equal to now seem oddly behind without warning. The raise didn't move you forward in feeling. It moved you sideways into a group where you felt behind. Underneath all of this is a quieter question. What were you actually hoping the raise would do for you inside? Most of us aren't chasing money for math. We're chasing a feeling, a sense of safety, of finally being okay. We want the chest to loosen. We want to stop refreshing the account and bracing for the next bill. But that feeling doesn't live in a number. It lives between what you have and what you've decided is enough. If enough keeps moving every time you earn more, no raise will catch it. The feeling stays one step ahead. This is the hedonic reset in plain clothes. The new thing thrills briefly, becomes noise, then demands the next. You bought the better headphones. You ordered the nicer chair. Each felt amazing for a weekend, then became simply expected. Soon you weren't excited by them anymore. You just couldn't imagine going back, which feels strangely like loss instead. That's the trap. The upgrade doesn't add joy permanently, it just raises the floor, leaving the ceiling still unreached. So you reach again and again. The raise that was supposed to be the answer becomes the next chase's beginning. There's another layer hiding here, and it's tender. A lot of the chase isn't about things, it's about belonging. When the raise came, you didn't just want a better couch, you wanted to feel like you fit somewhere finally. Maybe you grew up watching adults stretch every dollar. Maybe you remember the quiet stress of bills on the counter. So earning more wasn't only practical, it carried a promise that you'd feel different than that child watching everything counted. But the child's feeling doesn't dissolve with a paycheck. It needs to be met with something money cannot actually buy. A bigger number can soothe that child for a moment, but the soothing wears off before the next paycheck arrives. That's why even good raises can feel hollow. They land in a wallet that hoped they'd land somewhere much deeper. Some people feel this most in the family group chat. A sibling mentions a new house and your chest tightens. You weren't unhappy 10 minutes ago, but suddenly your fine apartment feels like proof you're falling behind invisibly. That's not the apartment talking. That's a comparison thread the raise made louder, because you now have something to defend. There's another version that happens at work. A coworker mentions a vacation, and suddenly your weekend plans feel embarrassingly small. You weren't ashamed yesterday, but the raise gave you permission to want more, and now wanting more feels mandatory. Pause here for a moment. Think about the last raise or bonus you received and how it actually felt later. Did the relief actually stay, or did it disappear into a bigger life that demanded slightly more of you? There's no wrong answer here. I'd love to read your honest experience in the comments below, even just a sentence. Your story might be the exact thing another person reading needs. It can help them feel less alone tonight. Then come back here. The next part is where most people finally see the whole machine clearly for once. Here's what keeps you running. The treadmill isn't your fault, and it isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. Everything around you is built to raise your baseline. Ads, feeds, neighbors, coworkers, the whole landscape pushes normal upward gently. You're not weak for feeling the pull. You're human, and an environment engineered so enough never feels like enough. Once you see that, something softens inside. The shame turns into curiosity about how the trick actually works. And the trick has a name worth saying clearly. You're measuring an inside feeling against everyone's carefully arranged outside picture. Their highlight reel is not their full life. The car in the driveway might be 3 paychecks from quiet panic. The kitchen on your screen might be staged for 15 seconds. The vacation might carry debt you'll never see anywhere. The friend whose lifestyle you envy might envy yours equally. Everyone is comparing forward and feeling behind at once. Comparing your full inner world to their edited outer one will always make you feel behind. The math is rigged. The people who actually feel settled are often the ones you'd never notice. They're not performing wealth, they're inhabiting enough. You've probably met one. Someone who drives an older car, lives in a modest home, and seems unbothered by trends. They're not missing out. They stopped letting the outside world set their baseline and reclaimed the right to choose. That's what stepping off the treadmill actually looks like. Not less money, not less ambition, just a baseline chosen intentionally. It starts with one small noticing. When the upgrader arrives, pause and ask whose voice is inside it. Is it really yours, or the room you walked into yesterday? Is it the feed, a coworker, your family? Most of the time, the urge belongs to someone else. You're carrying a standard you never agreed to. Putting it down isn't dramatic, it's quiet. You let one upgrade pass and notice that nothing collapses inside. The world doesn't end. The friendship survives. The version of you that didn't upgrade is still completely worthy of love. Each time you let a baseline raising moment pass, the treadmill slows. Not because you earned less, but needed less. And needing less, while earning what you earn, is real wealth. It's the closest thing to feeling rich available. This is the reframe worth carrying. A raise is a tool, not a feeling, and the feeling gets built elsewhere. The feeling is built in how you define enough. It lives in your attention, in your comparison circle daily. You can earn more and feel poorer. You've already proven that. The opposite is also true, quieter than expected. You can earn what you earn now and slowly feel richer. You only need to stop the baseline from rising. That doesn't mean denying yourself things. It means choosing upgrades that actually feed your life and letting status ones pass. Some upgrades genuinely add joy. Think of a better mattress, a tool that saves hours, a meal you remember. Those are different from the ones bought to be seen. Your body knows the difference, even if your cart doesn't. Start trusting that quiet signal. Notice the difference between wanting something for your life and wanting it for the picture. The first kind tends to settle in and stay good. The second fades by the weekend, asking for a replacement. The more you spend on the first kind, the more raises feel like raises. They stop disappearing into invisible upgrades. That's not advice about money. It's awareness about wanting. And awareness about wanting is what the treadmill counts on missing. Today's paycheck might feel strangely thin, even bigger than last year's. You're not failing at being successful here. You're standing on a treadmill that sped up the moment you did. Nobody handed you a manual for stepping off. The manual is short. See the machine? Choose your baseline. Stop measuring insides against outsides and let upgrades pass. Give yourself permission to feel enough before the numbers say you should. Enough is a decision, not a distant destination. That decision is available to you today. It works with the income you have and the life you've built. Nothing has to change outside for something to soften inside. That softening is the relief the raise promised. You can practice in tiny moments. Next time an upgrade urge arrives, wait 3 days before deciding if it's yours. Most urges quietly disappear in that window. The ones that stay are usually real, worth your attention and your dollars. This single pause, repeated over months, slowly rewires the chase. Your baseline stops climbing automatically and raises start landing properly. Notice where the chase costs you besides money: the lost weekends, the working late, friendships quietly pushed aside. Those costs rarely show up on any statement, but they're the real price the treadmill extracts while you run. When you slow the chase, those things come back. Time, attention, quiet hours, and the person you were becoming. You stop needing the upgrade to feel okay. Your evenings stop being recovery from earning the next thing. That return is the real wealth, not the upgrade you skipped, but the life you finally have space to live. This is what the people who feel rich have. Not bigger numbers, but a baseline they chose and quietly defended. If this helped you see your chase more kindly, take a moment, subscribe, and turn on notifications below. That tiny tap tells me to keep making these. It keeps these conversations showing up when you need them most. Leave a comment with the moment you first noticed your treadmill speeding up. Your words help someone else recognize theirs. Next time a raise lands, let it be just a number. Let the feeling come from somewhere numbers can't reach. You were never poor when the raise arrived. You were just standing too close to a mirror that kept moving. Step back from the mirror gently. Stand still inside your life. The richness you've been chasing was already waiting.